Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning, Paul. How are you doing?
I am doing well this morning. It's a lovely Thursday morning. The sun is rising as we speak, and it's the dawn of a new day.
Yes, it is. I took my drive here this morning to work, and I saw an increase in traffic. I was a little bit late, so I was able to observe that there's quite a few people on the road. A little bit after 6 in the morning, you see an increase in persons getting that morning walk or run or ride in. And I can't imagine how grateful they must feel at the end of that, because you're able to walk the city or walk the roads wherever you are when almost everyone is asleep, really. So you're able to embrace the quiet of the morning before the day really starts.
You're among the top 5% of the population when you get up early. And I'm more of an evening person, so I'm not one to wake up early and run. I'll admit that right off the bat.
No, I will tell you, originally I was what they'd call an owl. I feel like I perform well at nighttime, but I have enjoyed waking up earlier in the morning and taking that morning drive when it's still quiet in the morning, when persons are still just making that first yawn and waking up. I really can say that it's a different type of peace that you feel on your journey coming to work.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. Whatever you are, whatever you prefer, I think whatever works for you, that's fine, and you just need to know yourself and accept that. Don't feel pressured because somebody could wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and
I can't
run
do 3 o'clock
5
yet.
miles and then write an entire essay and get the workout out of the way before they actually go to work. Kudos to those people, but I'm not one of them, and that's okay.
No, absolutely. But we do have a couple topics to jump into this morning for our What's Buzzing segment. We did touch a bit briefly on it yesterday in our newscast, but I know that we shared in our newscast yesterday a development on this story, the tragic story that took place in Belmopan, where a woman and a child lost her life in the broad daylight public of the Belmopan market.
So there's 3 things I'd like to touch on real quick, some for the sake of clarity. The first one is that the child, just let me just say first of all that this is a tragic incident overall in terms of what happened there. A woman, a 40-year-old woman and an 8-year-old child both lost their life in a very unforeseen incident. First, let me just clarify one report we made prior to last night's report, which was that the child was that of the woman who passed away, who lost her life as well. That's not the case. In fact, the child was her neighbor's child.
Wow.
The community has a system where, at least the neighbors, they have a system where they do carpooling. And each neighbor or each resident would take a turn to pick up the child, take the children to school and from school. And in this case, this family this was their day that they were tasked with doing that. And while on their way home, they stopped by the ice cream shop. So that's one thing. Secondly, we were showing, so that's more than one family affected in this.
Yeah.
Apart from the community being affected, we were showing some footage that News 5 got exclusively of the suspect, the shooter, walking up to the couple that he subsequently attacked and fired upon, but walking up to them casually, as if nothing was about to happen.
As if engaging with an old friend.
As if engaging with an old friend. And what we got on the ground from one family member is that this couple did consider him a friend. And so when they saw him, as we were seeing, they got up and shook his hand. And that's his son. So this is Mr. Robert Joseph and David Joseph, and that's his son. And then they got back to sit down. Of course, if you feel threat, you won't sit back down and continue to eat your ice cream. You know, you'll probably run for cover immediately. So here again, they got up to shake him. What you're not hearing in the audio is when the woman, Miss Laura, who was eventually killed, when she said, "Wow," like to say, "I haven't seen you for a long time, good old friend. It's good to see you." But clearly, the suspect, the shooter, went there with an ulterior motive, with a bad intent at that, and that intent was to shoot and kill. And that's what he did, and so he was detained by police. Thirdly, where it happened was a very public area. We're talking about a market, of all places, one of the busiest days, market day, Tuesday in Belmopan. Like, people say Belmopan boring. Market day is a highlight of the week for Belmopan residents, and that's on Tuesday and Fridays. So this shooter couldn't have picked a worse day, not that there's a better day, but to commit such a crime among so much residents that were at risk. Nonetheless, he did it in front of a cafe that serves ice cream, popular for ice cream, and so it would have a lot of kids. And in fact, if you look around in this footage, you'll see kids running around. Now, it puts a stain. You could imagine those business owners and how much it affects their business, how much it affects the investments that they're making. And
the business owner did say that.
And the business owners did say that, and there's two sides to the argument. Because one side, the business owner is saying, well, there isn't much we could have done to prevent this. It's not like we brought the guy here. It's not like we endorsed the guy's presence being here. And it's not like if we were aware and we had security cameras. And so in an attempt to have his customers feel that there's some safety here, you can come back, you can make the purchase. So there's that one side of how this affects this business and these business owners. But on the other side, you have people saying, well, hey, you guys need more security. This is showing that perhaps we need more police patrolling the area. Perhaps we need something else done, and that's a conversation that they will have to deal with. But I just wanted to highlight how something like this, we don't always look at it, but how it could affect these businesses that attract children and attract families for the most part for something like this to happen.
I think for me, the hardest part to hear last night in a newscast was a comment from the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, talking about how this individual pursued the children. That was horrifying. I can't even imagine what was going through the thoughts of these kids. I understand that one hid in a bathroom. One of them had help by another individual, I imagine a stranger, to try to hide this child. Ultimately, one of the children that was in the company of the couple would pass away. And even worse, it wouldn't even be one of their child, it would be that of a neighbor. So I can't even imagine the thoughts of that little child's parents, what is going through their mind at this time. It's just such a heartbreaking story. And I think the entire community of Belmopan at large, they are feeling this. The market patrons, they're wondering now if it's probably unsafe to even go out and purchase their produce. And that's not how it's supposed to be.
I will say that yesterday we did see activities in the market. And it seems as if there is this sense from Belmopan residents and those who frequent the market that this is an isolated event because this shooter wasn't necessarily targeting random people, but that he had a specific intentions and a specific identities that he was going after.
And the backstory to it was pretty intriguing too, because his claim was that these individuals, I'm assuming the adults, attempted to poison him.
So I got a bit of information, some background on that from one family member, one family member, as well as somebody else there at the market, that this is wholly unconfirmed, but very reliable, that perhaps what had happened was that the family, being of foreign origin, gave this family, the accused and his son, something to eat that was strange to them, that was of a foreign context in terms of food, and that because of the taste and because of the texture, we don't understand the ingredients and what they use.
Because they're from the Netherlands, correct?
They're from the Netherlands. That specific food tasted spoiled or tasted bad to them, but that was just how it was prepared. And so there is that aspect of that accusation being investigated by police, that perhaps it may have not been poison, but that it was just a particular food that they shared that had that type of taste, that and there's a specific food mentioned that I won't get into as yet until investigators fully delve into that.
You know, something else that crossed my mind was that the surveillance footage showcased two individuals walking up to the couple. One that would be the accused individual, or the person that handed himself into the police that did the shooting, and his son. Were you able to capture anything on that surveillance footage of what took place from the son's side? Did he leave?
He left. So he brought his father, and if you really read into the footage, you'll see where, when they first arrived at the ice cream shop, that his father was having a conversation with another man who would have been Mr. Ronald, the co-owner of the market and the Paradise Cafe. The father was having a conversation and the son tapped him on the shoulder. And I'm looking at this footage and I'm really trying to dissect it, because in my mind, I'm trying to get into their minds, wondering what they're thinking. He taps his father's shoulder and prompts him to, let's proceed.
Oh.
And so they continued on, and then when the father engaged the couple, that's when the son left. And that's just to say that police also detained the son for questioning.
That's my next question that I would have had.
Well,
as you know, Paul, we continue to investigate this story, and as we get any developments, we will be providing it with our viewers in our newscast, and of course on our morning show as well.
Yes.
But moving into, I don't want to say lighter, because it's still generally somber for who uses this social media platform regularly, but there's been conversations of potential banning of TikTok in the United States. I know that there were a couple articles surfacing online. There was a bill that was tabled in the United States talking about the potential of banning TikTok. Those who love TikTok, if you love streaming it, or if you love making videos, this might not be good news. Let us know, Paul.
This is a cause for concern for those who are considered TikTok famous. You know, the women that does their makeup and whatever on TikTok, the guys that show off their muscles and their brawn while in the gym. I don't know, because I don't use TikTok that much. Perhaps 1.5% of my time on this planet is used scrolling TikTok or whatever.
On this planet?
Yeah, it's not, I don't engage much in TikTok, but the issue here for the US is that you have it stems from having two giant world forces, global forces, China and the US, who have had long-standing military tensions, economic tensions, trade tensions, and this TikTok is basically run by a Chinese company, based company, and for a while, the US has been having conversations about what they should do with TikTok, what should happen with TikTok, because it is seen as a security threat. In the US, you have more than 7 million small businesses on TikTok and 170 million Americans using this. You talk about men uploading all of your data, all your personal information, all of these stuff that the US fears who they consider to be an opposition use for their advantage, or at least against the US. And so there've been these conversations happening at the legislative level for some time, and more recently in the House of Representatives in the US, they voted on a bill. The majority approved a bill to have TikTok divest, which simply means to give up your, and this is the CEOs or the proprietors, to give up your authority over this, to give up your possession in terms of you overlooking it, at least in the US. To whom that authority would go to, that's yet to be seen. But that's basically what the bill seeks to do, to say, hey, if you want to operate here, we want more involvement. We need more involvement, because you can't have all this data in your hands controlling it.
And you know what I think is so interesting, because we're looking at the screen there that's displaying Americans in protest of the potential of TikTok being banning in the United States, because obviously it benefits them individually and their businesses. It's interesting to see that the government would be acting on their behalf for the potential of protecting their personal information, but they're saying, hey, this is for a lot of people an income generator. This is for a lot of people a means of how they got famous. You know, they've increased in wealth because of this social media platform and many other social media platforms. But we've seen over the past few years, especially during the pandemic, where persons really delved into this social media platform and provided a safe space for other users or other streamers. And it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I know that it's going to definitely come with a lot of pushback from the general users on the ground, at least the American side. And I'm gonna be following this one for sure.
Yeah, and if they don't follow through, the threat, of course, is banning the social media. And interestingly, the president recently opened a TikTok page for his campaign purposes, but said that if the bill is passed, that he will sign it nonetheless. So this is something that we're keeping our eyes on, because you know how the saying goes, when America sneezes, Belize catches the flu. And I would, even though we're not making any money from it, I'd still be sad for all those TikTok famous people.
I mean, not even just the TikTok famous people, because I enjoy scrolling on TikTok at nighttime before I go to sleep, and that's probably not a good thing, because that's probably one of the reasons for my insomnia at times. But you get a lot of information off of that platform. I have to say, don't sleep on it. Not yet.
Well, but, clearly you're not sleeping on it.
I'm not. I'm quite awake. But I think aside from that, I have to say that this platform has been a means of accessing information for a lot of people. It's not a platform that you post pretty pictures on. It's a platform that we were able to see people be more open and honest and vulnerable. And I really enjoyed that about that particular.
You sound like one of the protesters.
No, I'm not. I'm just here like a fly on the wall when it comes to social media. I just started posting videos, and I'm still considering if that's something that I want to do. But I'm just going to follow it and see how it unfolds. But I did want to point that I think the broader conversation that we should be having is the concern that they're having about TikTok is a concern that we've been having about social media in general, how our private information is being used. We know that a lot of times the things that we search on any social media platform start showing up in advertisements on others. So it's really interesting how the background of these platforms work. A lot of times I've heard people say, I wonder if my phone is listening to me, because all of a sudden you're getting ads or you're getting suggestions for certain things. So I think ultimately what the United States is seeking to do is to protect these users, is to protect their personal information. And I'm hoping that ultimately whatever decision they come to obviously leads to the greater good of these users.
Great.
All right. Well, that does it for our What's Buzzing conversation. Now we're going to move into our weather update. And of course, our weather is provided by the National Meteorological Service.
Good morning, Belize. A moderate and mostly dry east to southeasterly airflow prevails. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for mostly sunny skies today, and high temperatures are expected to reach 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, to 94 inland and 82 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be clear to partly cloudy with low temperatures of 81 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, to 72 inland and 66 in the higher elevation. Little to no rainfall is expected. The winds will blow from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and the sea state will be moderate. A low tide will occur at 6:31 a.m., followed by a high at 12:28 this afternoon. Another low occurs at 7:59 tonight, and a high at 2:04 a.m. The sun comes up at 1 minute past 6 and sets at 2 minutes past 6 this evening. The moon comes up at 9:13 this morning and set at 10:42 tonight. The outlook for Friday and Friday night is for fair, windy, and mostly dry conditions to prevail. In the sargassum forecast, sargassum amounts over the area remain relatively low with minimal to moderate impacts, and no significant change is expected during the next week. In the fire forecast, the risk for forest fires will remain moderate to high. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
All right, that was your weather update by the National Meteorological Service, and it looks like it's going to be generally good weather. All right, moving now into our show lineup. We have 4 great conversations to look forward to, a jam-packed morning, Paul. Starting things off, we'll be joined by the director of the Peace Corps to Belize to talk to us about their upcoming initiatives in Belize.
And then our second conversation is all about Finance Belize, and so we'll be joined by the Minister of State, Christopher Koi, to speak with us about that program.
And I'm looking forward to this third segment. We'll be talking about Galen's Master in Social Work and Master in Secondary Education leadership programs with the crew from Galen.
And lastly, we'll be joined by the Belize City Defenders. Friday night, they faced that big upset. We're going to talk with them about it, as well as their upcoming game against the Orange Walk Running Rebels. I believe it is tomorrow night inside the Belize City Civic Center. You don't want to miss that conversation.
Definitely. You don't want to miss any one of these conversations. But we got to take our first break. And when we come back, we'll be talking about initiatives that are currently taking place in Belize with the Peace Corps. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced full high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
When we're talking about the first 1,000 days of life, you're talking about from the time you're born till you're 2 years of age. This is very important to your development. This is the time when your brain develops, when you learn how to think, how to eat, how to grow. This is extremely important. This time period will determine your later years in life, how healthy you are, how not healthy you are. Breastfeeding is extremely important, and we're not doing as much as we're supposed to be doing with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is cheap, it doesn't cost anything. It is readily available, it's at the right temperature. It is safe, it doesn't carry any diseases, but it carries all the nutrients that the child needs. A baby doesn't really need anything other than breast milk. It doesn't need water, doesn't need gripe water, no need juice, and this is true up to 6 months of age. If we do this for our baby, we're setting up our baby to be healthy. Babies that only breastfeed have less infections, they don't have diarrhea problems or ear infections like other children. So we're really pushing and promoting the first 1,000 days of life, exclusive breastfeeding. After a 6-month period, we then need to introduce food for the baby. But we're not going to be introducing chips and Ideal and soft drinks. If you choose to give a breast milk substitute to your child, there are certain risks that you run. When you start introducing these canned products to the young intestine, what happens is that you strain it, you make it overwork. Baby becomes constipated, bloated, colicky. Studies also show that these babies, when they get old in life, these are the ones that get obese, they get hypertension and get diabetes.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMall. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money and gas price because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Welcome back. We are having our first conversation for this morning. And as we mentioned in our first segment, we'll be highlighting the Peace Corps initiatives in Belize. We are joined by Nadine Rogers, and she's the Peace Corps Country Director for Belize. Good morning, Miss Rogers.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us all the way from Belmopan.
Thank you for having us.
Now, I have to tell you, Miss Rogers, I am particularly intrigued by the work of the Peace Corps. This one, I think, hits a little bit closer to home for me because as a young person, I remember seeing Peace Corps in my community. But for persons who don't know necessarily what is the purpose or the role of these individuals, let's talk a bit about that.
So, thank you for sharing your story, because I think every time I talk to someone in Belize, I hear a Peace Corps story. I hear how we had someone in our community, we had someone in our school. And so the United States Peace Corps has been in Belize for 62 years now. It was an initiative started by then President John F. Kennedy, and he had a vision that Americans should leave the comfort of what they know and go overseas and do something worthwhile. And so within 2 years of launching that, Belize was in the lineup to have volunteers.
Wow.
And just last week, I hosted a group of 7 who had served in Belize back in the 60s and 70s. And when they talked about the things they were doing at that time, helping to build capacity of the education system and all that kind of stuff, and then you connect that to what we're doing currently. So as the country developed, our work changed. And so now Peace Corps volunteers are working in 2 areas in Belize. One is early childhood literacy, because we really are concerned in alignment with the Ministry of Education that children learn to read early and well. And so that's our first project. And then the latest project is in partnership with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Transport through the National Sports Council, that we are doing youth development through sports.
Wow.
And it's big because when you think about the discipline of sports, when you think about the team building of sports, when you think about the opportunities that are created through sports, it's just the perfect venue for doing things in a nation that's growing.
Let's talk a bit about the first approach, which is the early childhood literacy, and some of the work that you're doing in that area across Belize.
So we have a program called Peace Corps Response, and those volunteers are our senior volunteers. They come for a short time. Anything between 3 months and 12 months. They come with a certain amount of expertise. And so these are your mid-career professionals, sometimes later career professionals, and they come. They are working with not just schools, but also with teaching faculty to help build capacity for identifying children with reading deficiencies and for implementing an intervention in the classroom with those children so that they begin to read at grade. And I've gone into the classroom where these response volunteers are. So shout out to the response volunteers this morning. I've gone into classrooms where they are, and you see the fire that's lit in a little kid when he realizes or she realizes, I can read that word. It's a powerful tool to be able to invest in a child in that way. So that's the work that our response volunteers are doing, and they are working closely with teachers who are welcoming that kind of support so that the teachers themselves can learn how to do it.
So those are the more senior Peace Corps individuals. Let's talk about the other individuals that would be coming and immersing themselves in the culture, learning about the people in different pockets of countries that they would visit.
So the flagship Peace Corps program is a 27-month program. The first 3 months almost are spent in training, where we do language training. So we teach Creole and Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So you do that. You learn about communities. We actually embed our training our training cohorts in communities where they live with host families and they learn their way around. And then they stay for 24 months after we swear them in. So after that training period where they get to stand up in front of everyone and say, I am a Peace Corps volunteer. Good morning to our 2-year cohorts. They then go out into communities and do their work at that community level. It's a grassroots development model. So other development partners, you would not see them at that level, at that community level. It's the Peace Corps that goes there.
And it would be the same work that they would do in the two different programs, or is it a bit more diverse?
So the difference is the response volunteers will do the literacy intervention. The 2-year volunteers are doing youth development through sports. So you would see them going into a school where there is no sports or where PE is a little bit free form. And then you would see kids developing skills around specific games. So they're going to learn the skills for basketball. They're going to learn the skills for soccer. And then you will see these schools being able to put together teams to enter into the tournaments that are sponsored by the National Sports Council.
Now, when it comes to, I'm interested in understanding more of how it works for these long-term volunteers who are housed by community members, what their experiences are like. They basically integrate themselves into the society, correct, and into these homes and living conditions, regardless of how it may be or what it may be like.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say good morning to all of our host families. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for creating a warm and safe place for volunteers to land. Imagine if a Belizean was going overseas to do this. Where would you, what embrace would you like them to have? Well, that's what the host families do. And because you are in a host family situation, your language skills get stronger.
Of course.
So you would be surprised to see an American speak in Creole. I mean, you more expect an American can learn Spanish, but Creole, that's a new one, right? And their language skills get strong. You see them in the market. They know what to buy. They know how to cook it. The way that Belizeans would cook it.
They know how to whip up a plate of rice and beans.
They know. They know. And on occasion, we will go out to visit a volunteer at home and have the volunteer prepare the meal. So we actually are watching these competencies develop. And the experience is a lifetime experience. Those bonds don't end when the volunteer service is over. That's a lifetime connection. So I've seen volunteers fly back for weddings. I've seen volunteers get excited because their host families have a new baby coming. People, the purpose is not just to say, well, you're a landlord, so you provide a room to a volunteer. It's an intercultural exchange. So you get something and they get something, and that bond is for life.
I want to touch really briefly on the individuals that would volunteer as a Peace Corps from these different, well, the Peace Corps, they come from the United States. Let's talk about how this organization goes about selecting these individuals. Do they have to have specific skill sets to be a volunteer and immerse themselves in a particular culture, or do they just have to have a heart of service? What is that process like, selecting these individuals?
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. You can't be a Peace Corps volunteer without a heart of service, because it is essentially about service. That's what we're here for. It's the posture we take, that whole grassroots exchange, that gaining wisdom in someone else's culture. That is about a heart. But we can't just bring people with big hearts and no skills. So we do work closely with our government counterparts to craft the job descriptions, and then the recruitment occurs in the United States against those job descriptions. And then every Peace Corps volunteer goes through a health screening that's pretty intense, and also a legal screening where we look at their backgrounds. So we try our very best to bring the best that America has to offer and bring them into communities.
And my next question is, how does the host home selection operate? For instance, there may be family members that are watching currently and saying, I'd love to host a Peace Corps in my community. How does that selection process work?
So first, I'd like to give a big shout out to our host family coordinator, Miguel. Good morning, Miguel. and to his backup, Rocio. Good morning, Rocio. And together, our teams go out and we look at at homes where people have said we want to be host families, where the interest has been expressed. So if you're interested, please go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page. There is a host family email there. You can submit your interests through that, and we will follow up with you. And so we are grateful for every family that steps up and wants to be a part of this commitment. We bring on host families who help for the 3-month training, and we bring on host families who do the 2 years, and it can be anything from 6 months to 2 years. And it's just really, it's as much art as it is science to find that right fit.
Now, when it comes to the schools that are selected to do the early childhood literacy program as well as the sporting programs, how is that selection process done, or how are these schools identified? Is it based on the needs of the communities to say, hey, this community is in the far-flung parts of Toledo and may not be getting enough attention and resources, or this is a city school that is overpopulated and under-resourced? How does that process work?
So the Peace Corps model, and this is a great question, is a model of the host nation government leads and we follow. And so it is very much a conversation with the government in Belize, with the 2 ministries, to identify the communities where there's A, need, and B, enough infrastructure to support a Peace Corps volunteer being present. And so that's a dance. We work it back and forth.
Okay.
So we've got our criteria for what makes a community that's viable, where a Peace Corps volunteer can actually make a difference, where a Peace Corps volunteer can be safe. And the government has ideas about which schools, which locations, which communities, and we work that out, and then we come up with the placements. So if you think that your school is a school that would be a perfect fit, I would say signal to the Ministry of Education, signal to the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Transport that there's an interest. There is a application process, and so be on the lookout for when that paperwork starts to come through. And we're bringing a cohort every year. So we bring a cohort of response volunteers in the summer, and before the end of the school year, our cohort of 2-year volunteers come in, and we take them through training and release them. So even if you looking for this year and it doesn't happen this year, the next year there'll be opportunity. Yes.
Are you able to say how many volunteers have passed through Belize over the last 6 decades?
Yeah, actually, last count 2,100.
Wow.
Last count 2,100. Belize has had a great relationship with Peace Corps.
Do you know how many we have currently in the country right now?
We're somewhere in the 30 time frame, and that is because of the global evacuation that occurred in response to COVID-19.
Right.
We are now bringing back volunteers. So we're up to about 30, and to the staff in Belmopan, you guys are working so hard because the next cohort is landing in May.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Is it a big cohort, small?
Well, by the time you add it all together, we might be up to about 70 volunteers on the ground.
Okay.
Oh, wow. And they're going to be placed in what parts of the country?
All over.
Wow.
Is there a way for Belizeans to identify a Peace Corps volunteer? Like I'm interested in their work, and if I see them, as I should with every other individual, but I want to pay an extra bit more respect and an extra bit more honor. But I'm not sure how to identify other than for somebody to come to me and say, hey, I'm a Peace Corps volunteer. Do they wear tags? I don't know.
Well, that's a great question. First of all, we are so grateful when we hear community members say, we want to give a little bit of extra love to the Peace Corps volunteers because we know why they're here. That integration process, host families help a lot. They're going to take their volunteer into the community and make sure that people around know them. And so you know how it is with small Caribbean communities.
Word travel.
Word travels, and
Yeah.
everyone will get
Yeah.
to know that
Yeah.
you're here.
Yeah.
And I encourage people, be kind to Peace Corps volunteers. They're away from their homes, they're away from their families, and they are here to do good work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think, and that's what we were talking about off camera, where I would have learned in my community that a Peace Corps was there when I was a young teenager, because the word travel, and you're able to see that individual walk around with this family member that is hosting them. And indeed, Paul, it does come with that added respect and appreciation that you
course.
give to them, because you know that, one, it's a selfless act that they're making. Two, I can't imagine what it feels like to leave your home and everything that you know and you're used to, your family, your friends, to immerse yourself into a culture and a family that you
But-
have no idea who these people
But
are.
even more so, Sabrina, to then immerse yourself for a couple of years and then to have to leave
Yeah.
and go back home after building all those relationships, after giving up yourself and your time, and then you go back home like, I'm going back home to this developed country that I love, that I grew up in, I have my family there, but I'm leaving a piece of me in Belize. I just get that sense that these volunteers feel like as if they're leaving a piece of them in a country that they perhaps are unfamiliar with before volunteering.
And is that the feedback that you get from these volunteers?
Absolutely. And it's why all these years later, I get 7 volunteers who served in the 60s and the 70s coming
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Because to some, this remains home.
Yeah.
It remains home, and people are permanently transformed. And that's why whenever you run into a Peace Corps volunteer in any sphere of life, so I've been in the U.S. government a long time, and my first exposure to a Peace Corps volunteer was on a project where they sent a person to work with me. And I thought, it's kind of different. And then I learned that she'd spent 2 years in Ghana. People come back eternally changed, and for that we are just super grateful. The experience, the way it shifts people's perspectives, the kinds of work that they choose later on. I mean, you see Peace Corps volunteers everywhere, in education, in international development, in diplomacy, and you can tell who they are. They have a special brand about them.
Have you gotten any type of specific feedback from persons that would have volunteered here in Belize, where they say, you know, this is unique about the culture here in Belize or the people here in Belize? Have you gotten any form of feedback from individuals that have lived here?
It's funny you ask, because about 2 weeks ago it was Peace Corps Week. And one of the things we did, we hosted a Reconnect with all the returned Peace Corps volunteers who'd served in Belize were invited. And about 50 of them got on the phone with us, and it was incredible. People were like, can you still get rice and beans? Can you still do this? Do people still do this?
Yeah.
So your question is yes.
Wow.
But for everybody it's different, right?
Of course.
For one person it might be the rice and beans. For somebody else it might be, you know, making tortillas with their family. For somebody else it's about the piece of the experience that they hold in their heart and what that means to them.
Wonderful.
Well, Ms. Rogers, I have to say I enjoyed this conversation, and I want to say a huge, huge thank you to yourself and the team that you are representing here in Belize and in the United States at large. The work that the Peace Corps does, it does not go unnoticed. And we look forward to having the new members that will be arriving or may have already arrived here in Belize. And we can't wait to hopefully see one at some point walking by with their host family and contributing to their respective communities that they're living in.
Sabrina, Paul, thank you for even having me here and for having this conversation. And to everyone out there, the Peace Corps is here to serve Belize, and we are happy to be here. As long as you want us here, we'll be here.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right, well, we got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment. Christopher Koyi will be talking to us about all things finance in Belize. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
From now on, when you visit Uno, you will experience an A+ power in all fuels. Dynamax Plus, the formula with the ultimate technology in additives, provides an A+ power and A+ performance. Dynamax Plus, A+ power and A+ performance to reach further with less fuel consumption. Dynamax Plus, available in all fuels. Uno, a different energy.
Belize City, your sharpshooting, high-flying, high-octane Belize City defenders are back in the workshop and are preparing for this weekend's battle. And let me tell you, they are looking to teach those rebels some respect.
Defenders don't frighten of nobody.
Friday Night Lights return with a special serving of a long-standing rivalry between two teams. It's your Belize City defenders getting ready to do battle with them Pacos boys, the Orange Walk Running Rebels. It happens this Friday, March 15th, inside the Belize City Civic Center. Tip-off is set for 9 p.m. and gates open at 7:30 p.m. Fans, come out and get a chance to participate in the 1-2-3 Cooking Oil Challenge for the opportunity at $4,000 cash. This Friday, March 15th, Defenders versus Rebels, 9 p.m. sharp, inside the Belize City Civic Center. Sponsors.
I'm David Humes. This is Vanessa Humes. We own Littlefield Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
What does family mean to you? Form a strong bond with your family.
Hey sis, how is friends?
Always remember, they may not be in the same place.
Coffee and friends, huh?
Make the time you spend together fun and memorable. Ignore the petty differences. Love them while you still can. Life can be short.
Look, I did it.
You can be the glue that keeps them together.
You did a great job. Congratulations.
Family. Meaningful always.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
We are back with our second conversation for this morning, and it's all about Finance Belize. And we have joining us in the studio Mr. Christopher Koyi, who is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment, as well as Mr. Ronaldo Magana, who is the Chairman of Finance Belize. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. So,
thank you as well.
Let's start with the most basic question, which is Finance Belize. What is Finance Belize, and the idea behind this program, I believe?
Sure, thank you. Finance Belize is to be a marketing and promotion arm for the financial services sector. One of the primary goals is to increase the reputation of Belize globally, and also to be a highly respected jurisdiction that could attract a lot of businesses to Belize, as well as to become a fundamental pillar of the economy of Belize, to help improve what we have, and also, offer a lot of jobs to various persons. I mean, I think that's kind of like the fundamental goals of what we are trying to achieve. But essentially, is marketing and promotion of the financial services sector.
So when we think about the financial service sector, what are some of the features of the financial service sector in Belize? I'm thinking banking. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think financial service, banking. Is there more to it than that? Can you help us understand?
Sure. Yeah, of course. Banking is part of the financial sector, financial services sector. There are other service areas, such as non-banking financial services, like corporate services, company formation agents, trust planners, wealth specialists, fiduciary specialists. We have investment advisors, brokers, that sort of stuff. So in the sphere of what it is, if you study business or something, yes, you could probably belong in there. And also you could also maybe specialize in something like becoming an anti-money laundering specialist, or becoming a valuation specialist, business valuation specialist, becoming a certified public accountant, lawyers, paralegals. All that is in the sphere of non-banking services.
I wanna take the conversation over to Minister Koyi and ask about the importance of having a body like this in the government.
Well, this is not an entity that will form part of government.
Okay.
It is a private sector entity. It was incorporated under the Companies Act as a non-profit company, limited by guarantee, I think last year. But what it really is a reflection of an evolution of the industry. The predecessor to the existing Financial Services Commission, which is a statutory body. The predecessor to that was the International Financial Services Commission, and that handled the offshore sector. That was responsible for regulating the offshore sector, but also responsible for marketing of the offshore sector. And the experience with that has not really been necessarily a positive one. There's a perceived conflict between marketing and regulation. And so looking at other jurisdictions, and in particular the British Virgin Islands, BVI, they have split those roles and responsibilities. So they have their Financial Services Commission, which is the regulator, but they have also have a separate entity called BVI Finance, and that is responsible for marketing and promoting of the financial services sector. So in effect, this is mirroring what is that experience. They are by far the most successful jurisdiction in the area of companies and company administration and mutual funds. And Belize has, I believe, certain advantages even to BVI in that space. So what is important for us is not only the regulation of the space, but also the marketing and promotion. So the private sector has taken on that responsibility or that role, that it's in their interest and it's the country's interest to market and promote the sector, and we support that. So we are here in support of that, but also there is the legislation that is being tabled, Finance Belize Benefits and Exemptions Bill. I think it was tabled last Friday, and that is further in support of this effort.
There wasn't much debate that happened on that bill. In fact, I think it went through without any
Well, I think it's only first reading.
It's just first reading that they did on Friday. So what are the opportunities that exist for Belize's financial sector when it comes to marketing and promotion of the sector across the region, I would imagine? What are the opportunities that exist?
I mean, one of the primary opportunities that exists in the marketing and promotion of financial services sector is that Belize, in terms of like where we are geographically located, we're right in the center of North America and Latin America, Central and South America. We have a strong English language. We have a dollar stability. Our laws are based on English common law. All those things are pluses to our jurisdiction. When I say jurisdiction, it's Belize generally, compared to other jurisdictions, as so the minister mentioned, British Virgin Islands, Cayman, or Bermuda, just for conversation, right? So those are what I call strengths that enable opportunities for us to expand our service offerings. For example, the BPO sector is going. They come to us because we have a strong English language. We're close in proximity to the United States. In terms of opportunities, the government has supported the industry tremendously in, for example, promoting and legislating like a new Companies Act, right? That has enabled the formation of the ability to form several type of entities that are modern in law, that are easy to incorporate, and also backed up by a sophisticated online business registry system that was launched about 2 years ago. So that's just one example of how, where the opportunities are, and I believe that since that came into effect, we've seen a notable increase in the demand for it, and also there's an economic result as well, whereby we see a lot more companies being formed in Belize, meaning that there's more business happening somewhere down the line. For example, real estate. When a lot of tourists come or investors come, they need a company. They come and get a company, and then they buy a piece of property. They put the property in the land. So that type of opportunity arises, and because it's there, there's the law and there's the systems to do it. That's the sort of opportunities that occur, and of course there's a lot more things to do. And recently, as early as last year or two, there's the implementation of the Securities Industry Act, whereby it's been coming to full force now, and that again is another area of opportunity for us in terms of opening up of the capital markets for Belize. We'll be able to trade bonds, trade securities within the country, of course, in a regulated fashion.
Right.
And that again will enable economic growth, maybe foreign direct investment into the country, and all toward the goal of improving the economic result.
And speaking of the economy, Mr. Koye, if we could talk a bit about how this sector impacts the economy in terms of revenues generated on an annual basis. I know the Prime Minister recently presented the presentation of the budget. What are we looking at in terms of revenues from this sector on an annual basis? And is it that more revenue can be generated and the establishment of such a body will assist in doing that?
I think it's more looking into the future.
Okay.
Where the experience has been with this sector, it's had its ups and downs. Let's say 15 years ago, it was a far more significant component of our overall economy. I think there was some analysis that had said that somewhere between a little over 5% of GDP was really just the offshore side of the sector. But if you add in banking, it would have been more significant. That, with the adverse listings of Belize when it came to money laundering, and so 10, 15 years ago, that the sector really shrunk significantly, contracted significantly. But as Renalo, the chairman, has explained, we've done a lot of work over the past couple of years, passing a new securities industry law, modernizing that framework overall, but also passing new companies law that has attractive features in it, and at the same time introducing new laws that ensure that we meet international standards from a compliance and AML standpoint, so that we don't get blacklisted anymore.
Right.
So all that work lays a good foundation for this sector to rise from those flames. So I think what we have to look forward to is the sector becoming a more material contributor to the economy. We have an economy that is performing well. The tourism is doing well. The BPO sector is performing phenomenally. Agriculture has struggled a bit, but we think it will perform better this year. But overall, we've grown as an economy over 30% over the past 3 years. Now, it's important at all times. I mean, we had the COVID experience and saw tourism go to zero. It's important to diversify our economy and bring in new sectors. So this, I think, is a sector where we have basic comparative advantages in, and if we promote it, it can become a material contributor to our economy, our overall economy, and as well to the benefit of the public finances. So it can be a key player going forward, generating foreign exchange that supports our fixed exchange rate system.
What
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, what I understand from the conversation we're having so far is that there's a lot of potential in the development of Finance Belize. What I want to get, though, from you, Mr. Magana, is a bit of a breakdown of what Finance Belize looks like in terms of its factors and its layers. We know a big part of it will be marketing, or is marketing already. So let's break down what exactly takes place through this body.
Thanks. In terms of what's going to be happening, of course, marketing and promotion is a key thing. That is broken down into different, let's say, objectives or sub-objectives. Right? So some of the bigger ones would be like reputation building for the country, right? There's a program that will be there for reputation building. Like for Belize is like, as the minister had mentioned, we had passed through a lot of adversities, blacklists, all that stuff. Now, with government support, of course, you know, they've been working tremendously to get us off those lists, and they have done so successfully, and also with those, I guess behind the scenes we have the anti-money laundering component as well that we have done a lot of work on. The government has done a lot of work on with FIU and so on. So those are some of the successes that help to improve our reputation in the global market, the perspective of what Belize is doing, and that would trickle down to, for example, helping in the banking sector to help us be more transparent, be more trusted by the international market, and so on, to enable more, let's say, facilitate the faster opening of accounts and that sort of stuff. So in terms of in terms of being respected, I think that is building on that to be respected and to also become a major competitor with what is out there, like British Virgin Islands. Most of those jurisdictions already have a niche market. Like Cayman has like hedge funds, Bermuda is doing insurance. You know, they're big in that. BVI does a whole lot of other stuff. They've always bringing out new products, new services, new legislations. So in terms of another part of what we'll be doing as well is to look at what are other service types that we could introduce in the country, and of course that's where the government would come in and support us and say, yes, let's do a new trust act, let's do a new, for argument's sake, a new investment act or something like that, that will help us to open a new service. So when you open a new service, means you need more people to work there, you have possibly more foreign exchange, and also alone with the Securities Industries Act that we have spoken about. I mean, that's fresh, that's new. There's a lot of potential there. It's untapped. So with the securities industry alone, you know, it is expected that there will be more service offerings. There will be a demand for employment. There are also, you know, improve the capital market for the country. So, I mean, other things would be like, they say, human resources, capitalization for us in terms of finance, building its staff, you know, bringing in more qualified person to help us in the marketing scheme. So those are some of the layers below that. So, and then below that there's more layers. So,
of course.
So there is a plan, there is a strategic plan, and right now we're working on executing the different parts of the strategic plan.
Minister, you were right in saying that this sector has been through some troubling times over the years past, and that legislative reform was absolutely necessary in certain aspects to ensure that we're meeting international standards. And Mr. Magania brought up transparency and addressing that issue, which one would imagine was one of the main issues. And I think there's a concern from many Belizeans, perhaps not the majority, but in terms of who's investing, whose monies are coming into the country, who are these people that we're associating with and that are bringing this sort of finances through development into our country, investing in the sector. What sort of legislation is there or was created to ensure that there's this level of transparency to avoid, for example, money laundering or to avoid the sector dealing with monies that aren't necessarily legitimate, to once again not have us be blacklisted or have us being policed at such a under a microscope by these international bodies?
I think you touched on several
Yeah.
several issues in your comment or query. The effort on the legislative side, I think that is largely sufficient. What you refer to on both requires a lot of discussion.
Okay.
For one, as far as the business itself is concerned, or the sector as it exists is concerned, it is rather simple at this point in time, the type of business that occurs in Belize. For the most part, that sector is involved, the most successful part of that sector is in the area of companies and trusts.
Okay.
So all you're doing in terms of the international component of that sector is forming and administering companies. So there's not a huge flow of capital or money coming in or out. It's paying fees to the service providers and to government for maintaining those companies. So it's not like big amounts, billions of dollars coming into the country. That's not actually what's happening. And likewise with trusts, you have service providers performing trustee services or other administrative services. Where you allude to where it can get more risky, if you will, is in the movement of money. And in that sense, when we talk about mutual funds or hedge funds, well, in those areas, as an example, the movement of money becomes more significant. Where do those monies come from? Or even if the company sets up a bank account here, where do those monies come from? That is all part of the package of laws and regulations that we've already established, that the institutions, primarily the banking institutions, are obliged to comply with. And that's why, unfortunately, you find that many of the banks take a lot of time in opening a bank account, let's say. That's because they're doing a lot of due diligence, trying to find out who these people are, what's the source of their funds, and in doing that, complying with our laws. But there's a heightened level for them in that their correspondent banks, their correspondent banking relationships depend on the level of due diligence that they conduct. And that's why it can become onerous, but I think they're being overly cautious just to ensure that they don't have what they call dark money coming into the country. So I think we have the mechanisms in place. Ultimately, it's up to the service providers to ensure that they comply with the obligations and keep that dark money out of the country. And so while we do have that legislative mechanism, it's always important for continuing education and upskilling of the community that operate within that sector to ensure that we maintain the highest standards and keep the reputation of Belize in good standing.
Has an executive body been identified or established as yet for Finance Belize?
Yes.
Okay, what's the structure of that body?
Well, the structure of the body is there are 8 members on the board. Myself, I'm the chairman of the board, and then we have 7 other individuals. In total, 3 come from the industry. We have 1 from the diaspora. We have 1 from the regulator, 1 financial expert, and then we have 1 director from the Belize tourism staff, executive staff.
Right.
So we thought that composition would be ideal for what we want to be. It would cover all sectors of the financial services sector, and of course the diaspora as well would be included, and the BTB director that is on with us brings a wealth of experience for us to help us in executing our marketing strategy. So those that is like the main composition of where we are, and then after that we have a general and operations manager just looking after some promotion that's already been occurring. But then again, of course, I mentioned before, we are going to beef up the staff so that we could further execute our strategy.
How does it work? A final question for me. How does it work in terms of the legislation still being before the National Assembly, but operations already underway in terms of Finance Belize?
Well, the Finance Belize is an existing entity.
Yeah.
It's not being incorporated by virtue of the legislation.
Okay. What does the legislation do?
The legislation provides certain benefits and exemptions to Finance Belize. So, like I was mentioning, it clothes the entity with certain benefits, certain exemptions. So
good.
It enables it to. It's already a non-profit company, but we want to minimize the cost to which it would be put as it operates, so that it can focus in on serving that public good of marketing and promoting the sector for the benefit of the economy.
All right, well, gentlemen, I have to say thank you so much for stopping by. I'll give you an opportunity to share any last words if you have.
Sure. Today is our launch event. That's going to occur later this afternoon at the Belmopan. So it's going to be our official launch for Finance Belize.
Good.
And you know, we are very pleased to be at this point. It's been a long way in the making, and you know, I'm looking forward to the results of what we will be able to bring to the country.
All right. And yourself, Minister?
I guess I'll end with where I started. This is a little bit about the future. It's a sector that is almost restarting, if you will, and I think it can play an important role in our overall economic growth path. We have a good experience over the past few years in terms of our economic performance, but we always have to keep looking forward as to how we can elevate the growth trajectory of the country. What we have as a major challenge in this country is its productivity.
Yes.
Productivity in both the sense of labor productivity as well as capital, the use of financial capital. You know that we have quite a bit of excess liquidity in the system. We are near full employment, but at the same time, we have a skills gap. These are areas that a sector such as this can enable and support both. It pays better, so you have an incentive to upskill yourself so that you can get paid better. So that's on the human capital side, and on the financial capital side, it opens up the door. The securities legislation opens up the door for the mobilization of financial capital, because as businesses, you can reduce the cost of business, the interest rates, if you exercise the opportunity to access the capital market. So I think, yes, it will take some time as we have to build knowledge and know-how, but as we move along and people become more aware, it's an opportunity that will benefit us extensively.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by, sharing a bit of information on Finance Belize, and we can't wait to hear further information after the launch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
All right, well, you want to stay with us, because when we come back, we'll be talking about Galen's Masters in Social Work and Secondary Education Leadership when we come back.
So the doctor has given me 5 days off. How do I get paid from Social Security?
This is how Social Security works for sickness benefits. First, you must check that you qualify. You must be employed when you got sick. Have made 50 paid contributions. Have made 5 paid contributions within 13 weeks immediately before getting sick. To ensure that your processing goes smoothly, Be sure to complete and submit your claim form within 14 days of the first day of illness.
Thanks, I get it now.
Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Discover a shopping experience like no other at the V Department Store. They carry a vast array of products at unbeatable prices. Elevate your shopping journey with affordability, diversity, and accessibility at the V. Conveniently located at 1745 Coney Drive in Belize City.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMall. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money, and gas price because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, pay $28.13 more and get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Blood pressure 90/60, pulse rate 175, 145.
Come on, we gotta get into the operating theater. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
Come on, it's critical, guys. Let's go.
I've missed you so much, Daddy. Welcome home.
Welcome back. As we mentioned, we are having our third conversation for the morning, and it's all about Galen University's master's program. We are joined virtually by Dr. Krista DeGeer, and she has a master in social work, and I believe she's also one of the teachers there at Galen University as well. Good morning, Dr. DeGeer.
Good morning. So happy to be here to talk about Galen's new Master of Social Work program.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Well, let's get the conversation rolling. Let's get a bit of a background about the master's program at Galen University and this now offering in social work program.
So Galen is now offering a dynamic Masters of Social Work program. This program was based off the need for having an in-country Masters of Social Work program to stop the so-called brain drain, right? We want to keep students here. And it came out of my experience as a social worker with the Ministry of Human Development and a mental health counselor, all my experiences and seeing that need, right? We need more master's level social workers. So now Galen has offering of a Master's of Social Work, and it's very dynamic because we have two options. One option being an advanced standing program. So for students who already have a bachelor's of social work, you can complete your master's at Galen in 1 year's time.
Wow.
For those students who do not have a bachelor's of social work, or if they only have a bachelor's in another field or another subject, then we also have that traditional 2-year Master of Social Work program.
Either way, both of them are still attractive. I have to say kudos to Galen University for really breaking ground in the education system here in Belize and producing exceptional students across the board in all the programs that they currently offer. But Krista, I know that we wanted to also touch really quickly on the Masters in Secondary Education Leadership. Can you provide a bit of information on that as well?
I am not as familiar with that program. I am the coordinator for the Masters of Social Work, and sadly, Dr. Harrison is out sick today, but I am sure that we can provide information as a follow-up.
All right.
All right. In terms of the social work program, let's talk a bit about the inspiration or the discussion had in terms as it pertains to the need for such a program at the master's level in Belize.
Absolutely. So we know that social workers can be found almost everywhere. They are policymakers, they are change makers, they are healers, and we, look around in what our people are experiencing and just the need for competent mental health services. So we know we need more trained individuals, and that is what we aim to provide, right? Our program is very much mental health focused, social justice focused, and focused on how do we meet the need that's here in this country.
Have you observed, because you mentioned that one of the reasons why this program is being offered here in Belize is because of the issue of brain drain. Have you observed on your own, Krista, that students that are going out and they're pursuing their masters in social work, they're deciding to stay in the country or other countries to use what they've learned?
So one issue, right, is if we go international to study, that there is a significant cost. It's going to have a significant cost to get our education. It's more beneficial for the student to stay where they can get paid more after their education. So one really great perk of having your master's at Galen is it's here. You don't need to travel. You don't need to spend those expenses relocating to a different country. Our tuition is kept affordable as well. So there's a perk there. And if you're likely to stay in your country, we're also hoping that even after your education, you will stay and meet that need that's so critical in this country.
Speak a bit about some of the course offerings under this master's social work master's program, and perhaps what are a couple of the career opportunities that it may provide to students who complete the program?
Absolutely. So we have some dynamic course offerings. You can see it here on the screen. We have Privilege, Oppression, and Power, which looks at the social justice aspect of social work and learning how all of those aspects affect what we see around us every day. We have a heavy emphasis on trauma-informed assessment and intervention. There's 2 courses that all students have to take to understand how trauma affects what we deal with every day, the societal issues. Then we have some great electives that include a focus on clinical social work, which is that counseling, mental health social work, as well as children, families, and school social work. So it's very dynamic, and students can choose what electives that they would like to really help focus on maybe what their specialty will be when they graduate. Now, we also have intensive field placements, so field experience or internships known in other places. So you're getting hands-on learning as well. It's not just book or theoretical knowledge.
Right,
and this then prepares through the field experience and through the elective. These students are then prepared to immediately enter the workforce when they graduate, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
You know, what I have observed, Christia, and this was, of course, during the pandemic, was that a lot of these institutions in Belize, they switched to more of a hybrid learning system. Some of them offered courses completely virtually. Is this a program that students will have to access on campus, or do they have the opportunity to also access this degree through online learning?
That's a really great question, and we want to highlight that. So thank you for asking. The classes are fully online.
Wonderful.
And it's scheduled to help accommodate those with the field placements as well as those working. So they're evening online courses as well as some weekend offerings. Now, the field placement is in person. We can't get away with virtual field placements, but all the coursework is located online.
What has the interest been like as it relates to the student alumni there at Galen University? Have you been observing an increase in students that are interested in social work?
Yeah, one of the great findings is that we have students who are graduating Galen this year or already graduated or, still working towards graduation that are very interested in switching to the social work field. Yeah, these could be students in criminal justice and anthropology, as well as education, that they were just waiting for a program such as this. So we're very excited to capture our alumni and bring them into the master's program when it's their time.
Wonderful. And let's jump really quickly a bit into some of the fees. As you mentioned, this is an attractive option for persons who would like to avoid the higher costs of education outside of the country. What is the fees looking like for this particular program?
Yes, so we do ask that anybody who is interested, please contact our financial office, because it's going to look different for the different programs or situation student brings. So I would recommend doing that, because some students want to start part-time. Some students are coming in that advanced standing, which is significantly less because it's only 1 year. So we just ask you to reach out to us so we can give you an individualized assessment of cost.
Lastly, I think one of the questions that I'd like to ask you, Ms. Christia, is as the faculty or as the facilitator that will be interacting with these students pursuing this degree, what are you looking for in terms of the students that would be taking part in this program? Do you recommend it be a person who really has that strong desire to impart the knowledge that they would have gained in this program, or does it simply have to be someone that is interested? What would be the advice that you would give to a person that is interested in joining this program?
I really love that question, because something so beautiful and wonderful about social work is that we look around and find those people who want to make change, who want to be the change makers in our society, who want to do something positive. So I think if you have that, even if it's a small whisper inside of you, please reach out to us. I'm happy to talk to anybody, even if it's a small interest, to see, if you can fit into this program. But we welcome anybody. Like I said, for the regular stand-in, you could have a bachelor's degree in anything, and we would invite you to apply to the master's program if you have that interest, if you have that passion, even if it's a new passion that you want to explore, reach out, because that is what is so special about this field.
Absolutely.
How do potential students go about applying or getting more information on the program?
Absolutely. So you have been showing our wonderful new webpage for the Masters of Social Work program. So you could find the Masters of Social Work program information under what we call the FAST tab on our website. And all of the information is right there. Our application is right there. And how to apply. You can always contact me. My contact info is.
Well, I do have one last question, and this one's for real now. I think what I want to know, and what a lot of our viewers would want to know, is why Galen University?
Galen University provides education that is flexible and cutting edge, and prepares our students to work not only nationally, but internationally as well. So we're preparing students to go out into the world, wherever they land, and really make a difference and be leaders in their field.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. So in terms of the space, how many students can you accept in the program? What's the availability like?
So we're just inviting anybody who has that interest to apply. We're flexible in working with whatever size for the first cohort that we get. So we don't want to limit students. If you're out there watching and you have that interest, please just apply.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I think this is a wonderful opportunity to expand your education, to expand your career options, and to make positive change in Belize that we know has been a conversation in this country for so long.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us virtually, Dr. Christia. We appreciate the information that you have provided, and we wish you and the faculty over at Galen University all the best. And of course, the first cohort of students who will be accessing this program for their interests, and of course for the interests of other people that will be benefiting from the social work industry. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the folks from the Defenders. If it's your team, or if you're simply interested and have been following the BBL, you definitely want to stick around, because we'll be talking about the upcoming game this Friday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Tell them, say, hey yo, seguimos avanzando. Watch out now. Everybody know when you win as a champion.
I therefore hereby declare the winner of the San Pedro elections as the PUP.
Everybody know when you Nunes a champion, Ronda a champion, Marina a champion, Janya a champion, Ernesto a champion, Adali a champion, Wally a champion, Jose a champion, P.O.P. a champion, in a San Pedro, so we need a real champion.
I want to thank each and every one of you. This victory is for you.
Champion, everybody know what they knew is a champion. Champion. UDP bout to get sanction.
Earn V-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 homecation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning-fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced full high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
All right, and we are back with our fourth and final conversation, and it's all about the upcoming game between the Belize City Defenders and the Orange Walk Running Rebels, and we have none other than the man himself, the face of the organization, Mr. John Marsden. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm glad to see you happy and smiling this morning. Because I'm sure that wasn't the sentiments on Friday night.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't. That was not what we planned. That was not what we wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a ruler for us because we played down three of our players. People might not know that we didn't play with three of our additions to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Our key player, Rich Smith, was out, but we don't make excuses. We took our tails handed to us. We took it.
Yeah.
We went and we sat over the weekend with everybody, express our dissatisfaction with the team, with the effort really, because it was horrible on effort, and we made a plan to go forward. Tuesday we started a new plan. We started new energy, got everybody express what they needed to express. The team is back, willing to work for each other now, and we plan to showcase what we made adjustments with over the week on this tomorrow.
I think one of the first things that I want to point out is what the crowd looked like last Friday.
It was sold out.
Right?
It seems sold out.
So I've only seen a Civic that crowded twice.
Yeah.
Once when the volleyball national team played Guatemala. And that Friday, it was a feeling. I mean, it gives you cool see to see that.
Exactly. I have to say, and that was also my first game. I have to let our viewers know I finally showed up to a game, and it had to be last week Friday's game because it was, of course, where the two Belize City team went head to head.
Yeah.
Of course, the results weren't that fruitful for the Belize City Defenders, but I think ultimately what we wanted to see was that the people would go out and support.
Yeah. So for
us as, besides the defenders, but as the BBL, it was a great feeling to know that people are buying into the product that we're producing. We have 6 teams fully on board. We're trying to pull in one of the teams them to come fully and let them know that, yo, we're all in this together. I mean, imagine I took a close to 50-point blowout, and I'm sitting with the Hurricanes around the table speaking jokingly about it. I mean, it's something that, everybody know we had a very hard game. We did not do what we were supposed to do. We took our beating. But we were mature enough to sit around and laugh about it, so to speak, to say, don't worry, this is only match 1 of possibly 5 or possibly 7, you know. So it's something that we are happy that the community is buying into the product. We're happy that the league has a good sense of camaraderie. We look out for each other. We have owners coming and asking us, how can we do this better? We're giving advice to each other. That's what the new format of the BBL is all about. So it gives you encouragement that yes, it's working. Yeah. And we can see in the future that this thing might actually be able to be long term. Yeah. Right? So that's the good feeling on the BBL. On the defenders side, yes, we were happy for the support. We thank everybody that came out, that cheered for the defenders. I mean, we were happy to see the 2 Belize City teams going head to head. I mean, we took our spanking. You can't run for that.
When it comes to being a supporter of a team, you go through the ebbs and flows, the wins and the losses, and if you're a real ride or die, you're a bit disappointed, but at the same time, you're encouraged, you're hopeful. That's the word, that your team will bounce back.
Any basketball team has to go and get a blowout. I mean, recently I watched the Warriors take 50 points. The Warriors that are four championship team against the Celtics, right? The Celtics at this era has yet to produce a championship recently. The Warriors recently have 4 and they took 50 points. So it's
but the Hurricanes is not the Celtics, and you guys aren't the Warriors.
But at the helm, I could say that okay, we had our heads down that game there. Yeah. We picked it up. We spoke to each other. Everybody know what we expect now. What kind of work we need to put in. If I notice, none of the guys are here. They're actually working out right now. Right. So we know what we need to do. We know where we need to be.
Was this the first game that the defenders lost?
It was the first game.
The first game.
The first game.
So it was a ruler for us. We played without our key center. We played without 2 additions that we have coming in. We actually have 1 that came in yesterday. So he will be playing this Friday. He is a key. He played with us last year. He's fresh off a season in Hong Kong. So he came in yesterday. He's ready. He's pumped. We expressed to everybody, we took this beating. We don't want to take this beating ever again in our, especially this season. We can't afford that. Yeah. So everybody know that the time to get extra serious now.
What's the temperature right now in training from the players' side? Are they thinking that we have to redeem ourselves? Are they still in a state of disappointment, wondering what went wrong?
Disappointment is out. Like I said, the night we were. When we sat down Monday evening with everybody and we expressed, this is how we're going to go forward. This is what we expect of you. Tuesday night workout was exceptional. Everybody came ready to work. Everybody came ready for perfection. We know now that we need to be perfect to beat that team. And we are going to strive to be perfect to beat that team. But we made the adjustments starting Tuesday, and it culminates on Friday where we play the Orange Walk Running Rebels. Right. I mean, that team, we have a personal vendetta against that team. I mean, every team has a vendetta or so, but last year we felt that they did us dirty with a jersey issue. we never forget that. We don't want them to forget that, and we're going to show them why we don't want them to forget that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of personal for the organizations. None of them want to lose to each other because it's a small league. You sit around a table, you're going to hear, oh, I beat them too. We don't want that. So
yeah, and the thing is, we spent the entire week doing all the analytics. Spent the entire week talking about what went wrong, what the defenders could have done better. I have to give kudos to some of your key players that still performed under all the pressure. Daliard, Jones, Richard was missing and was definitely needed, but your players performed nonetheless, despite them being overpowered by the Hurricanes. That's the past. Belizeans are still looking forward to see the defenders' performance for the remainder of the season.
Exactly.
And tomorrow night is another test for you guys, because coming off of such a big loss, now fans and just supporters of the game are going to look to see, all right, how was that really the defenders we know, or can they bounce back tomorrow night against a formidable team like the Running Rebels? Let's talk about tomorrow night's game and the preparations.
Again, the Rebels are a great team. They have good players. They have Brian Besser-White, TJ Halls, James Sandbach, amongst others. So we're looking forward to showcasing what we practice. We want to see if what we're doing now would work in the league, because we kind of ramp up everything and shift some things around to see what we can do better. So it is going to be an entertaining game. We've moved completely to something else in our rosters. We saw a big emergence from our rookie Shane Pratt.
Yes.
I mean, he probably stopped scored for the team. I think he did. So we're looking forward to seeing more from him. We're trying to implement him more into the game more with the starters, to see how well he can produce.
Yeah.
So a lot is going to change with the defenders based on our one loss. I mean, it's not to say that we were panicking. It's to say that we saw what we were trying to do was not working, or is not working to what we wanted to. So we have to implement other things. So we did that this week. We're finishing it up tonight. We're working on the final pieces to come and exhibit it tomorrow night against the Running Rebels. Tickets go on sale for that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Tip-off is set for 9. Doors open at 7:30. I mean, right now we have people calling, texting, asking us how they can get tickets.
Yeah.
Again, tickets go on sale 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We go sharp. It is the league now showcases what people like about it. It's something to look forward to on Friday night with your families. So people are going to come out. We're telling people, come out soon, get your seats.
Yes, definitely. Because I'll tell you, if it's anything like last week, Friday, you don't want to be the 9 o'clock show up, because you're going to be trying to find a seat to sit with your friend, and it might be all the way up top.
So we're asking people to come out. Again, we have attractions. It's not just a basketball game for us. It's our attraction. We have the big. So we move the $3,000 challenge up to 4,000 now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So we do look forward to that. We do things on the fly. Last week we had Cecile giving one fan 100 US for a free throw. So we try to make it a family event. We have things for kids. We have things for everybody. We have Chester the cheetah there taking pictures with the kids, giving out chips. It is something that you can bring your family out to and say, yo, this is good, clean fun. The defenders always keep the business side of it professional. Our players know that we should not be over emotional. We try to keep it really family friendly.
Will we be seeing Rich return?
Yes, Rich should be ready for tomorrow. He has been doing workouts this week, slight workouts, getting his ankle properly back. We will evaluate him between today and tomorrow and make sure that he's proper, because we can't risk losing him. We saw we lost him, what that did to us. We know that cannot risk losing him for a long-term basis.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we have him for the home run stretch.
Yeah, what I like about tomorrow's game is that the Orange Walk Running Rebels, they're smelling blood. And the league, they're smelling blood. After last week's defeat, they probably see a wounded and defeated defenders, and they're gunning for that second position in the standings that you guys have. So with every other team, including Belmopan, smelling blood where the defenders are concerned, it makes for an interesting stage.
Yeah. So we're in a professional league, and professionally, you look at film. Film, you see, okay, what did the Hurricanes do to conquer us? And every team is going to come with something similar to that game plan. So we ourselves had to look at game film.
Yeah.
We had to relive that. Last night we sat down and everybody relived that, knowing that this is what the mistakes we made, how we don't make these mistakes again. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So yes, we know that teams are going to say, okay, let's do the same thing as what the Hurricanes did to them.
Yeah, it was heavy on the bigs in the second half.
Yeah. I mean the Hurricanes is a tall team, so that's a key factor that not much other teams have, because they have about almost 6 or 7 6'3" plus guys on their team, right?
Well, I think what we know for sure is Friday's game is going to remain an interesting one. I hope that the public continues to support. I can tell you from my experience that it was absolutely a great game. And it was a wonderful feeling to see the people out there supporting their respective teams, or just bringing their family to a family-friendly event as well. I'll ask you if you have any sponsors that you'd like to highlight, or any last words.
Yes, of course, we have to give big kudos to our sponsors. I mean, without them, this isn't possible. Moyauna Resorts, Honorable Anthony Marla, 123 Vegetable Oil, Channel 5, Full Memory Photography, Madisco, Night and Day, Innova Dental Care, the Belize Tourism Board, Channel 7, Hyper Sound, Mars Rental, Premier Charters and Tours, and our official hangout food spot, the Old River Bar and Grill, which we will be there tonight for the official meet and greet. We do have our new player in that he will be there as well. His name is Fenton Bradley. He played with us last year. He's back. He knows what to expect from the league now. He knows the physicality of the league. So we ask the public, come out, meet the guys, understand why people like the defenders so much. The players are very friendly. They speak up to you. They're like any other Belizean. That's why I guess they don't class them as foreigners. They are.
Yeah.
They act very Belizean-like.
That's true.
You know, so tomorrow, 9 p.m., Orange Walk versus the Belize City Defenders. Tip-off is at 9 p.m. Gates open at 7:30 p.m. Come out, fans, get a chance to win that $4,000. I mean, we ask people to purchase the shirts.
The jerseys, yeah.
You know, you could purchase, once you have on a 2024 Defenders jersey, you come, you make yourself known to the DJs, say, yo, I want to win something, and they will bring you on the court to get an opportunity to win some prize. You know, we do resort stays per games. We don't have one resort for the weekend. We have stays. So thanks to Moyo, they give us resort stays per night for fans to win. You can go there.
I had no idea.
Yes, last week the week before we gave away two stays at we did Hopkins Bay.
Wow.
Last week was Kopal.
I think you guys also spoke about Sweet Songs too.
And Sweet Songs.
Yeah,
we did Sweet Songs. It was Sweet Songs, not Kopal.
You have to have on your
you have to have on a jersey. It's a simple thing. You do a layup. It's a contest. We have to entertain the crowd.
Yeah.
We have entertainment from our DJs, No Fear DJs, DJ Jago. We have a number of different things. Our official after party is an all-white after party. It stems from last year when we had an all-white basketball game. And that's when they stuck it to us and protested against us.
Right.
So,
yes.
like I said, we don't let them, we won't let them forget what they did last year. We won't let them forget. We got something for them.
Well, my brother, thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you as always, and we look forward to seeing what the defenders do come Friday. I know that they're coming back with an insatiable hunger to redeem themselves.
Definitely.
And we can't wait to see what takes place. Well, we want to say a big thank you to all of our guests that stopped by this morning, both on set and virtually, but also a big thank you to our viewers for sticking with us. It is March the 14th. And if you are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. But if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, you can do so, and you can also send us an email with questions, comments, or concerns at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, as well as Instagram at OYEBelize. Thanks so much for joining us, and please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow as you open your eyes
And start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Thursday.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.